please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic? Captain's Log, subdates 230810.3. The extraction of Bob from Bork's No Square cavity will take Deorkita at least a week. This is only because we may well need to use Bork to infiltrate Subfleet HQ, with Bob still in his ass. So yes, we're hedging our bets. Welcome everyone to the exhibition of stupid people. Today we're going to start with a bit of sarcasm from Riley Gaines. Riley Gaines is one of the biggest critics of Leah Thomas for being a trans swimmer who has been accused also of stealing places from other biological women in sports. Riley Gaines believing her own career has been harmed because of Leah Thomas. Riley Gaines has gone so far as to speak at a committee hearing or two, talking about the invasion of her own privacy and dignity eroded at by a system that has allowed Leah Thomas to change in front of them and they had to change in front of her. I have covered this many times on BitChute, Rumble, Omegon too, and in fact here as well, but I thought today what I'd do is start with a video that she's responding to, that she shared on TikTok and on Twitter. And it highlights a number of issues with people who feel the need to tell you everything about who they are. I thought I'd just share it and then talk about it a little before we move on.
I'm Cody, pronouns em, airs, or zem, zers, or really any neo-pronouns that aren't ze, her, hers. I am a white, transmasculine, femme, non-binary, temporarily mostly able-bodied, neurodivergent, obsessive-compulsive, chronically ill, culturally Jewish, Unitarian Universalist, non-monogamous, demi-low romantic, gray demi-bisexual, survivor of acute and complex trauma, millennial, and cat parent in mental health recovery.
Because you are sharing something to social media, I am well within my right to critique where I think it is right. What is your business and what's yours to share is entirely up to you. If anyone wants to now ask what business is it of mine, the business of it being mine is that you've put it in the public domain and I'm allowed to say, perhaps you need to learn to share less. Because having all these identities doesn't make you an authority on any of it, which is often how it is used as a way of making it seem like you are something more than you really are. Basically, you're a human, and like every other human on the planet, defective, because humanity is a cancer. No lives matter, everyone. Just pray for the end. Pray to Cthulhu, it'll be over faster. And Riley's response to this is a response I'd expect from a parent. Okay, alright, carry on, get it out of your system. That. Of course, there are other parenting styles as well, and I hear a belt would be quite effective in some instances. Moving on. So next on the agenda, we've got to go to a video doing its rounds all over Twitter. It's one I like to call Feck Around, Find Out. Okay, in the video, a gentleman was committing himself to a not-so-gentlemanly act of robbing a place, an establishment. In the video, he starts stealing, and right at the end, someone at the shop decides, "You've fecked around a bit too much. Time for you to find out. Say hello to my little friend, my wand from Hogwarts. I have the biggest wand in all the land, you filthy little muggle." This video was shared by a number of people as I've mentioned, one of the more notable being Tristan Tate, who tweeted, "Not all heroes wear capes, some wear turbans." No, I don't mean Professor Quirrell.
Put my strap on your bitch ass. Why you getting evidence? Why you getting evidence? Bitch ass nigga.
God damn. Ain't nothing you can do that.
A few moments later.
Don't do that, man. Don't do that.
So next on the agenda we have another video to respond to, this one from Mia Khalifa, formerly an adult film star, now somebody who speaks up quite vehemently against a number of very important social issues. Courtesy of Tree of Logic, when Mia Khalifa tell men all of this, I wonder how many will think I can save her and date her anyway. Retweeted by Sugar Tits. If you don't understand that marriage means commitment past the stage of infatuation, and that in the end, when all the physical stuff fades, what you're left with is your best friend, don't get married. That might be a spoiler, but it's a very good video to respond to, I think. So let's do that and see if Sugar Tits has a point.
Oh, we're comparing stats. Baby girl doesn't know that I am Tom Brady at this game. Married at 18, divorced at 21. Second marriage, married at 25, divorced at 28. Third engagement, engaged at 29, ended it at 30, but I kept the ring. I'm still keeping Tom Brady on his toes.
You remember that first video we played of someone telling us all their identities? That's what this is. I'm an expert on marriage because I failed at it twice and almost got there a third time to fail again. Yo, I'm a pro at the marriage game. That's totally what you are. You're not vain. You're not narcissistic. No. You're not superficial either. No, you know what commitment is because you committed 3 times. 2.5? Yeah. And you got so close because a hat trick is a real brag as well. Hell, if you get to 6, you can brag you're on par with Henry VIII. Of course, 2 of your wives or husbands need to be beheaded. One needs to pass away and one needs to survive you.
We should not be afraid to leave these men. We are not stuck with these people. Marriage is not a sanctimonious thing.
Are you sure about that? You make it sound like it's just some trivialized aspect of life for a tax break only, which, considering where you live in the world, I doubt was a tax break in the slightest. From what I have been led to believe, marriage is a necessity if you have children, which I noticed over the years many people who espoused feminism and equality, but through the lens of independence, were so quick to get married the moment they got pregnant. I found that quite fascinating. Marriage is a commitment to each other. The vows are quite simple: to have and to hold in sickness and in health, for better for worse till death do you part. And that's a key point. Those vows are sacred, but they mean very little to people who don't understand them. You are marrying your best friend in the whole world. That's what you're marrying. You are not marrying cause, convenience, or because the sex is banging. Although I will admit, if the sex is really good, it's an added perk that you also get to marry the person that makes that sex oh so good.
It is paperwork. It's something, it's a commitment you make to someone. But if you feel like you're not getting anything from that commitment and you're trying, you gotta go. You gotta go. You have to go.
I would argue, as a marriage is give or take, a marriage is ups and downs, a marriage is a struggle. Of course, the winner is the last person standing. You have to exhaust every option first realistically before you consider leaving. And I think that's the right mentality to have. Again, this is a commitment. Who said it was easy? If anyone ever tells you their marriage is easy, they've lied. Although, there are some rare instances where 2 people genuinely, both, have found a happiness and a balance by simply being together. It is quite uncommon, but I guess that comes down to how you prioritize your marriage to the rest of your life, or why you got married in the first place. If your first thought is to look for the door because you're not getting as much out of it as you thought, it sounds to me like you're not putting in as much as you should to keep the other person from losing their way. Again, give or take extra miles, working together.
I know it's difficult to fill out paperwork and to make appointments and to do all of these things, but this is your life. Do you want to be stuck with someone? Period. Do you want to be stuck with someone?
No, I don't, to answer your question, but I was never stupid enough to get married twice and engaged the 3rd time. In fact, I never got engaged or married, because I knew I was an insufferable dickhead. Why would I want to inflict that on another person? You, though, have clearly treated your marriages and your engagement as accessories. 3 years seems to be your limit, which seems about right for the current generation of individuals. Yes, unable to commit down the long straight, they get past the honeymoon phase and all the fun, yeah, but then realize realistically they really don't want anyone in their life. They just want to do, and that's it. Very superficial, very plastic, very materialistic, and not so interested in the spiritual aspect. Let's move on.
This is for Vash. Vash Kaczynski, or whatever the fuck your fucking stupid last name is. You good for nothing lousy fucking freedom botherer. Me and you, in the ring. One man, one male feminist enters, and only one man will leave, and it'll be this fucking man. Call me a fascist. Call me a fascist. You see what fascism is? When me and you go into the ring, and my fascism ends up in your fucking ring.
I was going to originally offer comment on this, because I found it to be one of the funniest pikey hocks I'd seen in a while. But instead I'd like to say that if Vosh, whatever your stupid effing name is according to Dank, decides to get in the ring with someone like Dank, I would pay to watch that, if only to watch Vosh get his head kicked in by a Scotsman, even if this particular Scotsman apparently is now a pikey. Honourable mention goes to iDubbbz, who recently uploaded Creator Clash 2 in its full entirety to his YouTube channel. It got 128,000 views, which isn't bad, certainly more views than I get for any of my videos, but for a channel that used to average the millions every upload, this isn't great. What's more embarrassing, I guess, is creators that have laid the smacketh down on iDubbbz have been getting more views in less time covering Creator Clash 2. To the next subject, we go to Twitter. Lost Prophets, Ian Watkins. Lost Prophets were a band. Ian Watkins was the singer of the band. I believe, if memory serves, I've done a video on this dickhead. Not even a joke. I was a huge fan of Lost Prophets. I saw them numerous times. But what he did, no. I'll link that Halls of Injustice down below, by the way. He's going to be in prison for a very long time. When he was sentenced to 29 years. That doesn't include additional time for Keister stashing a phone. He is serving his time at HMP Wakefield, and he was recently taken to hospital after he was touched with a sharp object. The police are currently investigating the incident, and they are refusing to comment further while the police investigate. Many people on social media are of the opinion, don't treat him, let it get infected and let him suffer for this. I think it's fascinating the police are willing to act so soon now, when they actually knew 4 years earlier, before he was eventually arrested, what he was actually up to. But they didn't do anything until 4 years later. Currently, he is 10 years into his 29-year sentence, and it is possible he could be released in 6 years' time. I wanted to highlight this because Ian Watkins is one of those people where I don't want him to be released. I don't want someone like that to be given an ounce, an iota of freedom. And if his time in prison at the bottom of the ladder is uncomfortable for him, that sounds an awful lot like a him problem. Now, on August the 7th, the police provided an update on his condition. In a statement they said, West Yorkshire Police were notified by staff at HMP Wakefield of an assault on a prisoner on the afternoon of Saturday the 5th of August. He was taken to hospital, where his injuries are not understood to be life-threatening. Inquiries are ongoing. Now, this was believed to have been provoked by jealousy over Ian Watkins, who was giving guitar lessons to other inmates, because, believe it or not, Ian Watkins is a very talented musician. On a number of the Lost Prophet records, he did the drums, and some of the guitar work and production. When ambulances arrived to help him, they actually had to put him in an ambulance to save his life initially. It was apparently a hostage situation that went completely Pete Tong and took about 6 hours to reach a conclusion, where he was beaten the F up by a bunch of inmates and touched with a sharp pointy object that we can't name in this video because of YouTube. This is another one of those F around find out things, because while he has been in prison for 10 years and he has been clearly integrating himself within the system, people still remember what he is and what he's done, and the consequences of that will be felt for the rest of his life. I am not saying he deserves it, that's for you to decide in the comments.